Hey guys, and welcome to another video. It's been a long time since I posted a video on YouTube. I've been very busy lately with work and whatnot. But of course, like usually, I do post my photos and whatever I'm doing on my Instagram, which is Radio the Artist. So you can check that out whenever you can. But back to this video. Today I am reviewing a camera that I purchased many months ago. Obviously, this camera reviewing has been reviewed billions of times on this channel, so I'm trying not to go too crazy with it. Just my simple take on this camera, and of course, like usual, the photos that I have taken with this camera. So if you're interested on what this camera is, of course you probably know because of the thumbnail on this video. Check it out. And while you're at it, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It's been a while since I posted a video. I'm hoping that I can continue doing this, but obviously I haven't been very consistent with it, but I would try my best to do so. But anyway, enough chat. Let's get to the video, shall we? The camera I have here today is the Canon 5D. Now, this camera is pretty famous throughout the whole photography community. This camera has been reviewed billions of times on YouTube channels. I bought it because I obviously, for many reasons, because I wanted a cheap DSLR. And I've never actually owned a DSLR in my life. I think the Sony is probably the only digital camera. Well, I'll take that back. Sony is my second digital camera I've ever owned. My first digital camera was a Kodak, whatever, point and shoot digital camera I bought many centuries ago during my high school days. A Sony, one I'm filming currently right now, is my second digital camera, and this is my third digital camera. And of course, I'll get to this part later, why I have an old vintage lens on here. But for the most part, I bought this because I wanted to experiment with full frame, and I wanted to get my hands on something that a lot of people were talking about in terms of a good DSLR. Of course, this is the first generation, the Mark I 5D1. This is a 12 megapixel camera, and I think the reason why I also got this is because I'm also used to shooting with film, and this camera is so basic when it comes to shooting. Actually, I'm gonna show you right now. As you can see, like the menu here, as you can see here, is so basic. Like, it's only like maybe what, one page, so you can pretty much don't have to worry about it being so complicated. And I think that's something that a lot of the newer cameras, and from my knowledge, don't have. You know, you have cameras that got like a lot of pages and a lot of like different things you can do, but this camera came out, you know, in what, early 2000s, mid 2000s, and it was so basic, and so it was just shooting. It was just no video, no 4K. It was just a basic camera where a lot of professional photographers used. I know the 1D, the 1DX, those are like their top tier DSLR cameras, but this was pretty much, you know, your consumer base photography camera for a lot of people who, you know, shoot professionally. And I would say that having this camera for a while, it's just a different way of shooting compared to shooting on my Sony, which I'm filming right now. And so you have a viewfinder, obviously, and you have just a one-page menu where you can tweak maybe just your, if you want to shoot black and white, there's like a couple other profiles you can shoot with, and that's about it. And of course, RAW and JPEG. This is 12 megapixels. I would say this shoots a lot better images than your phone, and depending on the type of glass you're shooting on, your image looks amazing. And a lot of people say that this particular camera has this film-like quality to it, and I do agree with it. I do agree that this camera, definitely the images do have like this film-like quality, depending on the time of day you shoot, the aperture, and all the settings you put in place. It does come out film-like. And of course, in this video I will show the images that I've taken with this camera. And I got this camera because I know a lot of photographers go, I got this camera for, I don't know, 200 bucks and 300 bucks. I got it less than 100 bucks. Maybe a little less than that, but yeah, 100 bucks. Maybe 200, almost close to it. Maybe less than that. I don't remember exactly. I think I think I paid less than 100 bucks for this. And of course, as you can tell, you know, it's not the most beautiful looking camera. It is a bit rugged, a bit rough, and I didn't actually buy the lenses that come with this camera. Instead, I bought a vintage adapter for this particular camera. As you can see, it's bent here, but I'm stuck a Minolta lens on here. And actually, I do have an FD lens adapter, but for some reason the images look quite soft compared to the Minolta. It's sharper with this particular lens. I have a 50mm, and of course, this is a 28mm Minolta lens. And you can get it online for pretty cheap if you can stick an adapter on it. And it comes out pretty affordable, especially if you've never shot DSLR and you want something that is quite affordable. Compared to other cameras, especially today, a lot of the newer cameras take SD cards. But this one takes a different type of format, which is CF cards, or compact flash, if I'm saying that correctly. This one I got is obviously, if I can focus, that is an adapter. You can stick your SD card on here because it's a little bit harder to get these. I mean, they still make them, but it's not as much as you can get them, but it's pretty difficult, much harder to get them. And then of course I have the original one that came with it, and this is what, 16 gig. I think the other one I have is also 16. No, the other one I have is 64 gig SD card for the adapter, and this one is 16 gig. I would say this actually tends to have a lot of problems for me. Some of the photos I've taken with it sometimes could look, I don't know what it is. Maybe the way it's reading the card or whatnot. It's okay. Maybe it's just my computer at work that I'm using. But I think the SD cards are more reliable and they won't fail as less compared to this. I shot with this, and some of my images sometimes don't come out complete. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the firmware on this, but so far I've had more success using the SD card adapter for this particular camera. It's pretty cheap actually. You can get this fairly cheap. I don't know the price because in China things are a little bit differently priced, but then you just slide it in and you close it up, and then you're good to go. Obviously I don't have an SD card in here, so it's gonna read, you know, SD card not formatted. So that's pretty much it in terms of like the format you need for this particular camera. But it's pretty easy. I mean, it's straightforward again, not complicated, you know, nothing, you know, nothing too extreme. So as I said before, the menu system here is pretty basic. If you go all the way to the top, you have quality. It shows you if you want to shoot RAW or like a RAW or JPEG. And even with the JPEG, it has like large or small. I think it's just depending on how big of a size you want, maybe for prints, etc. Beep, if you want to make noise, shoot without card, white balance, custom white balance, color temperature, color space, picture style, monochromatic, faithful, natural, landscape, portrait, standard. I usually do faithful or natural. Of course I had monochromatic. Rotate, print order, I guess if you wanted to print it straight from the camera, I'm assuming. Autoplay, I guess you can autoplay the pictures that you're taking. The review time, autofocusing points. I never played with that yet because I'm only shooting on manual lenses. Maybe I will experiment with that later on when I actually get the actual lenses that come with this camera or came with this camera. Histogram, RGB, you know, shows you like your you know, your highlights, colors, etc. Auto power off, auto rotate, LCD brightness, so you can turn the brightness on high or low. You can, this is date and time, so it can date and time your pictures that you've taken. That's obvious, right? File numbering, continuous, select folder, language, you could pick your language, video system, communication for printing, format, of course, if you want to format your the card that comes with it, and these other these other menu modes, I guess. Sensor cleaner, so if you want to, it has a functioning system where if your sensor is dirty, you have to remove the lens, and then you have to hit the sensor cleaner, and then the mirror will flap up, and then you can blow or sensor clean the dust off your sensor, because this camera in particular could get very dusty easily if you're not careful on how you operate with this camera. And of course it has the firmware, so it's pretty basic. Like, this menu is like so basic, like I mean, compared to now where you can do just about anything with your camera. I mean, this is a simpler time, and actually I kind of do like this. I don't know any other modern cameras that does that. Maybe a Leica, I don't know. Leica or a Hasselblad, maybe they have a simple menu system, but I know a lot of like Sony's and Fuji's have, like, you can change the colors, you can create your own picture profiles, you can customize the buttons you want. This is just plug and play. All you got to do is just find maybe the only thing you can change up on is your picture profile, maybe the auto focusing points if you wanted to, and maybe the histogram. Other than that, like, it's pretty basic when it comes to the menu system, and I think that's something that brings the joyness of photography. I think that's the whole goal of photography, right? Is being minimalistic and just being as easy to operate, you know, compared to what you can do today. Now I'm done talking, done reviewing on this camera. I'm gonna go ahead and showcase some photos that I've taken with this camera, and that's pretty much it for now. So sit back, relax, and check it out. as I said before, this particular camera, you know, I've got it because I wanted to try out DSLR and I wanted to experiment. I wanted to see how it's like, and so far I've been very impressed with it. I think that, you know, having this camera is just like, it's basically like holding a film camera, but they just have electronic parts in it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my review on this camera. I'm gonna do another video soon where I just do a part 2 on my street photography adventure here in China. Of course, I will be shooting with this camera, so be on the lookout for that one. And I want to say thank you guys for watching this video. Click like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.